Hi there, welcome to video 2 in the series on happy, healthy relationships. And if you have not watched video 1 in this series, I just highly recommend that you go back because the foundation of the pillars of happy, healthy relationships all rest on vision. So just understand that at any point you can clarify what your vision is. It doesn't matter if you've been in a marriage for 30 years or if you're just getting started or if you've been working with the same people for 10 years or you're just getting started. Doesn't matter. It just matters that you have a vision, and at any point you can clarify that vision, because having clarity on your vision is key. It's key to happiness. Key, absolutely key, because we never go where we don't intentionally move ourselves. So action obviously drives vision, but I'm going to move on to in video 2 we're going to talk about people skills. Now, people skills are very interesting. I'm going to share the screen here, and you can see again, we saw this yesterday, that happy, healthy relationships are just held up by these 3 pillars of self-love, people skills, and forgiveness. And today we're going to talk about people skills, which is the middle pillar. Now, people skills are a very, very interesting thing to develop. When we operate just from our perspective, we don't tend to get along well with others, or we constantly don't have a voice and we muffle our own voice, and we don't have fulfilling relationships. So people skills are the tools that help us to expand relationships. They're like the grease and the gears of relationships, and they're also one of the keys to happy, healthy relationships. Now, when I work with people, I recommend to start with 2 really important books. And the first one is a book called The 5 Love Languages. It's the original book by Dr. Gary Chapman. And if you've ever looked up books on relationships, it has popped up. I read that book back in the 90s when it first came out. It was recommended to me by a mentor of mine at the time. And I'm somebody who I like to test the information. I tested the information and immediately saw that it worked, that there was actual value in understanding people's love languages. Now, I want to say people skills are not tactics and they're not strategies. People skills are skills navigating relationships. And since our world is filled with people, it would be really good if more people had the skill to easily navigate relationships. So The 5 Love Languages is a primary book to read really in any relationship, because everybody has a love language, right? And I love it because it doesn't divide people by men think this way and women think that way. There's plenty of relationship books like that, right? But this one just treats you like people are people, and they're wired certain ways. And finding your love language is like finding ways that you feel like loved and appreciated, right? And it's also how you show others. So there's a distinct language that people work from depending on how they're wired. Now, the other book that I like people to read is a general overview of temperaments based on the original Greek format of how they broke down temperaments within the human race. Now, a lot of corporate those very, very evolved and involved personality tests where there's all these different categories that you could fall into. Those are all like extensions of the basic temperaments. So if you understand the basic temperaments, you are way ahead of tons of other people, because people are either outgoing or they're reserved. They're either task or they would prefer to just hang out and be around people. Some people are a blend. Some people are very dominant in a certain personality. And understanding how being able to recognize that in your coworkers, in your collaborating partners, in your kids, in your spouse, in the guy that you're dating or the girl that you're meeting for coffee, being able to recognize that, because we often hear that opposites attract. Well, there's a certain lineup that feels more comfortable to certain personalities. So certain temperaments are a better match for certain personalities. There's less friction. It isn't a right, it isn't a wrong, it's just a is, right? So that's the second book. And then the third one is more of a business book, but boy, it has a chapter in there on accepting, approving, and appreciating people. It's an old book by Les Giblin. I believe it's called How to Have Power and Confidence in Dealing with People. That book talks about accept, approve, and appreciate. Accept. In any relationship, you have to have a great relationship with someone, you have to accept the person. You have to accept where they are in this moment of time with whatever their circumstances are. Accept. Just accept. Hey, every 12-step program, right? Every 12-step program starts with the first step of acceptance. Accepting whatever that program is designed to help you move through. Accepting where you are. Well, accepting others too, accepting where they are. So acceptance, not can't constantly complaining that they're not a certain way, but just to accept this is where they're at, right? Then the second is approve. Finding things to approve of that person. Finding things to approve. You may not approve of a lot of the habits and the things that they're doing, but you can find something to approve of, and you can focus on that. And then the third is appreciation. How do you appreciate someone else? Well, if you've accepted them and you've approved of them, you found something to approve of, and makes it really easy to then focus on appreciating them for the things that they bring that are positive. And through your energy, it shows. They feel it. You can even verbally or through your actions show your appreciation. But you know what? If we're not approved of, we know it. Nobody has to tell you if you feel disapproval for something, or nobody has to, like, you feel unappreciated, right? If you're employing people, they should know that you appreciate them. If you're working for someone and they're providing an opportunity for you, hey, it would be really great that they know that you appreciate them. So that is just a basic overview of some of the people skills. And I really want to say, please remember that people skills are not techniques, they're not tactics, they're not strategies, they're tools, they're skills. They're skills to navigate relationships, to understand others. And usually it starts with understanding ourselves. And we're going to talk a little bit more about self-love tomorrow. But for today, that's a wrap on people skills.